Hello guys, Sandwich Twitch here. I have a very special video for you today. The greatest WWE or WWF heel moments of all time. Some of these are pretty disturbing and make you uncomfortable, but sometimes that's what a heel has to do, right? I have a list of the 20 greatest heel moments to ever happen, and there's some stuff from the Golden, Attitude, Ruthless Aggression, and even PG era, believe it or not. So it's definitely mixed up quite a bit. I suppose I should get to it quickly, so here we go. Triple H destroying Shawn with a sledgehammer. Triple H returned from that big injury everyone knows about earlier in the year as a babyface. And around July, Triple H pedigreed Shawn Michaels, and the outcome was obviously his heel turn. So a lot of stuff happened in this feud, and it led to SummerSlam. The stipulation happened to be an unsanctioned street fight, and it turned out to be one of the greatest street fights in WWE history. But the part that really caught my attention was after the match. Shawn Michaels had won, and while he was celebrating his victory, Triple H attacks him with a sledgehammer out of nowhere. And as he's leaving the arena, he's laughing, with blood just gushing down his face. And Shawn had to get carried out on a stretcher. It was a very memorable night. I recommend watching this match if you haven't already. Good stuff. This is kind of a funny one. Ted DiBiase kicking the basketball. So what went down was Ted DiBiase told some little kid that if he could dribble a basketball 15 times, he would pay him $500. But on the 14th time the kid bounced the ball, DiBiase kicked the ball from under him, so the kid obviously didn't get his $500. And this one sort of ties in with the last one. DiBiase pays some guy to make a public pool private. So what happened here was Ted DiBiase went to a public pool, and it was full of kids. So he pays some worker a big wad of cash to kick all the kids out of the pool and make it so it's just for him. And I remember how upset the kids were. They were all complaining. This one was just gold. CM Punk imitates Jeff Hardy. Here's one from the PG era. So during some random SmackDown in 2009, there was a steel cage match with Hardy's career on the line, and CM Punk beats him. Then the following SmackDown, so that would be a week later, CM Punk comes out dressed as Jeff Hardy with his theme song and face paint and everything. And even I was disappointed at the time because I liked Jeff Hardy. Everyone did back then. But looking back at this was outstanding. The crowd's reactions were hilarious, and CM Punk even cut a promo when he got to the ring. And I'm sure all of you know by now how CM Punk's promos go. Shawn Michaels puts Marty Jannetty through a barbershop window. One of the most famous heel moments of all time. This was the end of the famous tag team, The Rockers. I don't really even have to explain this one very much. I'm sure all of you know what I'm talking about. Basically, Shawn Michaels superkicked his tag team partner, Marty Jannetty, and smashed his head through the barbershop window. Classic heel moment. And speaking of classic heel moments, the Montreal Screwjob. Another one that I'm pretty sure everyone already knows about by now. But this one was a real-life controversial incident. It resulted in Bret Hart leaving the company, and I remember that for several weeks there was a lot of heat on Vince and Shawn. But what are you gonna do, right? Still technically a great heel moment. Chris Jericho trolled us for over 3 weeks and pretended he was a face. But seriously, Chris Jericho was always one of the greatest heels of all time. One of his heel moments that really stood out to me was when he smashed that bottle of beer on CM Punk's head. And we all know that Punk is straight edge and stuff, so he doesn't really drink or do anything bad like that. Which is what made this even more fantastic. Next is Kane setting Jim Ross on fire. This one was one of the most twisted ones on the list. Kane had an awesome heel run back in 2003 and 2004, and him setting JR on fire was definitely one of the highlights of his career. I don't really know how to explain this one. Kane was just mad at JR because he thought he was making fun of him, so Kane got him down and poured like a ton of gasoline on him, took out a match and lit him on fire. That's really all there is to it. It made a great moment though. Piper nailing Snuka in the head with a coconut. This one is quite famous. I remember CM Punk saying that this is pretty much what made him want to become a wrestler in his documentary. So basically, Snuka was on the set of Piper's Pit, and Piper was making fun of Snuka in his own creative kind of way. And he just snaps and cracks a coconut on Snuka's head, and pretty much the whole set gets destroyed in the process. Brock Lesnar destroying Zach Gowen. So you have this one-legged kid, Zach Gowen, and you also have this beast, Brock Lesnar. Lesnar had many great heel moments in this feud. They were all pretty disturbing, but still great. There was a segment when he threw Gowen down that flight of stairs, but the one that really stood out to me was when he beat up Gowen right in front of his mom in his hometown. Brock did his ring post F5 to the kid like twice, and by the end of the match, Gowen was a bloody mess. Triple H interrupting the Stephanie and Test wedding. This is probably in my top 3 favorite heel moments of all time. I thought this was hilarious, especially his Stephanie McMahon voice. So Triple H interrupts Test and Stephanie's wedding to show us all a video of him marrying Stephanie while she was sleeping. This segment was absolutely perfect. Calling Vince dad with a sadistic smile on his face. It was just awesome. It's by far the funniest one on the whole list. Randy Orton kissing Stephanie right in front of Triple H. Orton's another man that has had a lot of great heel moments over the years. What happened here was Randy Orton handcuffed Triple H to one of the ropes, then Stephanie runs down to the ring to try and help Triple H, but before she even got fully in the ring, she kind of found herself caught in Randy Orton's rope-hung DDT position, so that knocked her out, and Randy Orton kissed her right in front of her husband, Triple H. Then he attacked Triple H later with a sledgehammer. And then the segment was kind of over, but it was just phenomenal. CM Punk pouring Paul Bearer's ashes on The Undertaker. This is by far the best moment to happen over the last few years. Undertaker was cutting a promo, and in the middle of it, his druids start coming out, and you hear Paul Bearer's voice even though he recently passed away. So CM Punk attacks Undertaker dressed as one of the druids. Then he hits The Undertaker with Paul Bearer's urn and pours the ashes on him afterwards. It was just so special. You never see anything like this happen very often. Orton says Eddie's in hell. I know a lot of people were offended by this one, and I'm sorry if it offends you. But this is another one of the twisted moments that I have for you. It was surprising even for someone like Orton to say. It was just plain disrespectful. But sometimes that's what needs to happen for a heel to get the job done. And Randy Orton definitely executed it well here, I think. Honky Tonk Man's guitar shot to Macho Man's head. Legendary golden era moment right here. So in the ring, there's Randy Savage being held by Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Bret the Hitman Hart. Then there's Honky Tonk Man with a guitar, getting ready to hit Savage in the head with it. Right when he's about to swing, Elizabeth gets in the way, so Honky Tonk Man pushes her down, and then he just drills Savage in the head with his guitar. It was nice. Next, Austin joins McMahon at WrestleMania 17. This is one of the most famous ones, and a lot of people think of this as the end of the Attitude Era. So it obviously had a huge impact on the WWE. Vince wanted Stone Cold to hit The Rock with a chair, and he did, just to win the WWF Championship at the time. And after the match ended, Stone Cold shook Vince's hand and they drank beer together, so it was known as Stone Cold Steve Austin's heel turn. The abduction of Stephanie McMahon. Great one here. Undertaker abducted Stephanie at Backlash, and still had her on Raw the next night. So the Ministry of Darkness came out rolling Stephanie, who was strapped to the Undertaker's symbol. They were gonna have an unholy wedding take place, and a few guys came out, like Ken Shamrock and The Big Show, but they didn't last very long. Undertaker ended up saying "I do" in like the creepiest voice he possibly could have used. And right before The Undertaker was about to kiss Stephanie, Stone Cold's music hit, and he kicked the Ministry's ass that night. Owen kicking Bret's leg. This took place at Royal Rumble 1994. It was a tag team match, Bret and Owen versus the Quebecers. Bret was pretty beat up, but he still didn't tag his brother, who was like fresh. The match ended, then Bret finally gets up after struggling from that big beating he took, and Owen decides to kick Bret's leg. And there you have it. Owen Hart's heel turn. Eddie's bedtime stories. So Ray and his son Dominic were in the middle of the ring. Eddie comes out and tells Dominic that he's really his son. Then Dominic runs out of the arena with Ray chasing him after he denied Ray's hug. While they weren't in the arena, Eddie took the opportunity to tell everyone the story about how he got a slut pregnant and had Dominic, but he didn't want him, so he gave him to Rey. This all led to a match at SummerSlam for the custody of Dominic, and Rey Mysterio won, but Eddie had great heel moments during this rivalry with Rey. Next is two-man power trip attack Lita and the Hardys. Here's one of the best ones on the whole list. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H just completely destroyed Lita and the Hardy Boys. Triple H pedigree Lita while Stone Cold was taking care of the Hardys with a chair, and while Stone Cold was on the ground hitting Matt with a chair, Lita climbed on top of Matt to protect him, and Stone Cold started hitting Lita with a chair. It was fantastic. I think this is probably the most heat Stone Cold ever got during his heel run. If Triple H never tore his quad, these guys could have done so much more. But oh well. Thank you so much if you watched this video all the way here. It really means a lot to me. Please let me know what your favorite heel moments were in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.